we've done that, but of course, Jim's getting a little on the elder side. He's 85, so, but he's still hanging in there. And Rita tries to keep him going. So she wants him to go and do as much as he can, just to make sure he's going and doing. Uh, Anybody else got anything they want to bring up for the club?
I'm just gonna mention a fellow that I met last weekend when I was up in Mentone. We got to talking about woodwork stuff and he said he had to give up turning a while back.
Was that Jess?
No.
Okay.
A guy named Matt.
Okay.
And, he'd had some eye problems that are, continuing to get worse. And so, I told him I'd bring it up to the group that, he had a old grizzly lathe and a bunch of tools and stuff to go with it. I got a little flyer put up back there and.
Oh, okay.
But, if you're interested, give him a call and, see what he can tell you about it.
Okay, so you got some info back there on what he's got by the coffee pot. All right.
Sent me a couple of pictures and stuff.
Okay, that'd be good. Everybody take a look at it. You might find something you're interested in. Yes.
Got a truck full of walnut out there. Please take it. I don't want to take it all.
I don't think anybody would pass up any walnut. How big is it?
12, 14-inch diameter.
Oh, good stuff. I need to get.
I'm checking to it because I did not treat the ends and it's just, I haven't split it or anything.
And there's a bunch of poplars sitting right next to it.
Poplar's in the truck right next to it, okay? Has the poplar got any color?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
My wife said if I bring home more wood, I'm dead.
Mine's been telling me that for years, and my wood pile just keeps on. Wait till she goes in the house and then sneak it in the shop.
Bunch of old hand tools out there, I can cut you a real good deal on.
Yeah, he's got the truck loaded with old shop tools out there. I think you modernize just a little bit.
It's a friend of mine, he had it back in the winter. He's trying to sell it for us, but
Okay.
trying to get rid of it.
Tommy, you got anything?
No, I'm gonna take a nap. Just remember financially, we're doing really well. We've got a tad over $8,000 in the bank. We don't owe anybody anything, so we're doing good. I did take that back. Somebody paid for the class last meeting. I don't remember. You here today? Somebody paid?
No, he's not here today.
Keep that fine $25 for me. Anyhow, that's the only person we owe anybody. For December, keep that in mind. That's one of our major fundraisers. We already have one of the giveaways for that. We have a mini lathe. It's a little unique. It's a Craftsman. I've never seen one like it, but it has an 1.25 by 8 spindle, just like a big lathe does. Has a 1-horse motor on it. So they're a little bit bigger, badder stuff. That's gonna be one of the things we're going to give away. I would like some ideas for the other 2 prizes. We tried to spend like 300, 200, 100, that's just kind of what we tried to do. So if y'all got any ideas, last year I think we gave a bow gouge, a chuck. And
Yeah, we had a truck and stuff, and a chainsaw.
I think it's about 3 years in a row we've given away a chainsaw. So anyway, I don't care, I'll give away another. So I would let me know anything that you think you might be interested in. Raffle give up.
And we liked the way we did it last year. I do, and I had several other people say, instead of having a specific prize and drawing the name for it, we will start with the top winner, and they can pick which of the 3 main big prizes they want, and then we'll draw the next to the top, and they can get whichever one they want. Then the poor one that would draw the third time, they get what's left.
In other words, first ticket gets first choice, second ticket gets choice of what's left,
Yep.
third ticket gets the one, so.
It's
Better than-
last year, third choice was the chainsaw. Which was slated for what we figured would be the top prize. But we'll do another Thompson special with a tool and a tool handle with North Alabama on it, because that was really neat looking. So I'll get with Doug and we'll get that.
Also, if there's turners that you would like to see, let me or Gary know, because we'll see what we can do about getting them in here. And we're always looking for demos from y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I really like about this group is everybody in here turns. So everybody in here could do a demo. And don't shake your head, no. Let's see, shake it back there. Another thing, you'll drop over the line. We're back.
There you go. We had one recommendation on a Turner today, Sammy Long. And who in here Sammy's demo, his classes are normally a 2-day class instead of a 1-day class. Do we have how many people might be interested? Are you familiar with Sammy Long? He does carving. Beautiful stuff. We'll show some pictures of his stuff, maybe in the newsletter. If Bill can, Bill's got a lot on his cart right now. His sister-in-law passed away in Texas, I believe it was. And then they got family members that are really in bad shape over in Georgia, and they go and stay with that one in Georgia like a week every 3 or 4 weeks. So
Something else we've done with demos, and it would even all be willing to do so. We got traded demos with Birmingham, with Rome, with Chattanooga, some other places. We went there and did a demo for them. They came here and did a demo for us. Would y'all be interested in visiting a club like that and doing a demo?
Your visitors, so actually I would be
Which club were you
from
Birmingham?
Birmingham.
Yeah, I've done. That's the one I did in Birmingham. That's the most miserable demo I ever did. I hate it. The lathe rolled over my foot, got hit in the nose with a piece of wood about that big. And I can't remember what else. I had to call my wife on the way home, said, hey, when I get there, I may be Lincoln and I may have 2 black eyes and a swelled up nose. Wasn't there,
For Birmingham, 2 months ago,
I did my first one last month.
and he made an angel,
Well, yeah,
and it's back there, isn't it?
that's not the one I made, but it's similar.
That he sets up a router on his lathe, and he grooves the thread, the bar, the spur.
That's something I don't think we have ever had that I can recall. That ought to be.
No, and he's already said that he bring it and show it. So we may twist your arm for a demo.
It's something fun to do. I mean, because you get to meet all these people and they're just folks just like us. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you can always, I can tell you this much, the worst demo I ever attended, and I can tell you what it was, I'm not going to, but the worst demo I ever attended, I still learned something. Still learned something. And if you want to really
Know which one that was.
You learn how to duck. Did you learn how to duck?
No. Stick to that one. No, that deal with the thing in the nose, good telling.
That was a piece of mimosa was the problem.
Standing, I guess, is far from here, David, away from the lake. I'm way back over here. And I was talking to somebody else and I just looked and bam. I had a puddle of blood dead on the floor before I could get away. Like a scared Carl Cummings to death. I thought he was gonna pass out. But anyway, If you wanna know how to do something and now know how to do it well, teach it. So if you're gonna turn, I'm just picking on you because you happen, but if you're gonna turn an angel, how many times should you turn one before you demo it?
Worked on that for a year, yeah.
But, so it might take you that long, it might take you just do it 5 or 6 times, so you got all set thing. Something unique, something you picked up. So be with and do it for us, tell you about it, don't, will you do it for somebody else?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be talking to somebody about an off-center, three-centered turning, ornament bases, demoing them sometime in the next few months too, because they're great looking. We'll talk about that when we get to show and tell. But yes, if anybody wants to trade out some turning with other clubs and go visit, that's a big thing, is to just go visit other clubs and all. And but y'all remember that the last weekend in August is going to be SWAT in Waco, Texas. This coming year is a biggie. I mean, the people that are turning are absolutely great. And that's the largest symposium in the US now. It's been bigger than AAW's. And the price is less than half of what AAW's is. So, and they feed you every day. It's what it's included in that. So, except for the banquet, but and you meet a lot of people that from other clubs and all. And also, I'd like to remind everybody about the Worldwide Wood Turners on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. You'll just go to worldwidewoodturners.org and it'll carry you straight to the meeting. And there's approximately 80 to 100 people there, and there's a demo every Wednesday night on Zoom meeting. And most of them are pretty darn good. And it's a group just like us. There's some that are very simple turn-ins. There's some that are pretty exquisite turn-ins. It's just whatever the members volunteer to turn at the meeting, just like us. So, and it works. Anybody have anything else they want to bring up? Yes. Oh, yes. Birmingham would like to come talk just a minute. Look,
If you would come around.
Okay.
Get you on camera.
yeah,
Okay, you got people
you
on.
come,
Yeah,
yep,
here's some kind
you
of-
come around here, the people,
I got out last week.
Okay.
All right. Right here?
You
Good.
can see yourself right here.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Sandra McMillan and I have been a member and I've been recognizing faces all over the room. So I was back in the day when we're still in Homewood, and Buddy Finch was a friend of mine. And when I said the word wood turning, he made sure I joined this group. And so, but one of the projects, a project that I manage for the Birmingham group is the Children's Christmas Tree Project. And those of you who've been around for a while probably have heard of that, because I think it goes back to about 1983. And this year, our president talked to y'all about helping with those ornaments. People have been turning them in, and I've got a box back there, so they'll go on the tree this year. And some of you that have been connected with the Birmingham group probably also remember Bill West. Bill West was a president at one time, and he died about 2017. But his daughters are the people still decorate the tree for us. So I wouldn't be in charge of collecting the ornaments if they weren't decorating the tree, because they're very, very good at that. And it's very much it's important to them because it puts them with something they did all the time with their mother and dad every year for many years. So, but I've got a list here and I'm gonna just send it around with this pen. If you've already turned in some ornaments, put your name on the list for me. If you know about how many you turned in, that'd be good. I do keep up with like how many different people have turned in ornaments, so we kind of know what's going on. And it also helps me keep up with the count. We put 300 ornaments on the tree is sort of our base number. Last year we had 329 and all of them went on the tree. And so we started this year at 0. So there was upside and a downside of that one. But I'm really, what y'all have done this year is be very helpful. It raises money for Children's Hospital. The tree has been bought for years by Mike and Ann Warren. And so that typically happens. And then what they do with the tree is they turn around and give it to another organization. So there's a group in Birmingham called Encore, which is a respite program for people who have family members with dementia. It gives them 4 hours of a day where they have no one to take care of. And, if you're familiar with those kind of situations, that is a relief for people that are dealing with family members with dementia. So not only does the tree help children's with fundraising, it turns around and helps Encore because they have a Christmas concert and they sell the ornaments off the tree and gives them some extra money and provides scholarships for people who can't afford the cost of the day's rate, which is not a lot, but still for some people, that puts pressure on their budget. So thank you for everything you've done. I hope we've been talking about whether this is something that maybe could go on again next year and the next year and the next year. And so, and I'm hoping that we can do that because, it's a great thing to do. It'll help a lot of kids. It helps kids, Children's serves children who have insurance. They serve children who do not have insurance. And, it gives them the flexibility to be able to serve people that are what they call medically indigent. Their insurance is, kids that are so sick that they get to the end of their insurance. So thank you for all that you've done. I'll start this around and if you give it back to me at the back, it'll be helpful too. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Yes, we'll talk about this further. But, she's wanting.
You just squeezed it.
I mashed the button and turned it off, didn't I? Making the Children's Hospital tree a joint venture between our club and Birmingham. Birmingham's lost a lot of membership and they have, their officers down there have changed a bunch. So anybody wants to go visit, I told them if they'd start sharing their newsletter, we'd get a little info and we could start traveling back and forth and visit them too. So I will try to be down there next month. So take a look. All right. Anyone else have anything? Do we have any visitors today? Yes, we do have visitors from Birmingham. How about stand up and tell us your name?
Chris Henley. I travel all the way from Pike Road, other side of Montgomery. And heard fantastic things out of Ron about y'all. And been trying to get up here for about 3-4 months, honestly. I've been turning since COVID, basically. I said I had to be in the shops. I had to be home. So if I'm gonna be home with my walking kid, I'm gonna go to the shop. So the next thing you know, I've got a lathe and fell in love. Second time. So I've been turning just about everything. I don't specialize. I just enjoy being out there and making something. So wonderful to meet everybody. I've heard nothing but great things out of y'all. And obviously, just that table over there, y'all do fantastic stuff. So I look forward to learning as much as I can. I'm still learning about that for sure.
I believe that's all of us. Stan passed away. Funeral was yesterday. His non-Hodgkin's lymphoma from 30 years ago had been in remission. It came back probably earlier this year. He started having some issues and all. But as with lymphoma, once it's been in remission and comes back, it's usually very quick. Very quick. And we lost a family member yesterday morning at my house. A young man, special needs young man that we kind of took in almost 40 years ago and put him in a house and all. He'd worked for us for all that time, 38 years he'd worked for us. And we found out last month on Friday of last month's meet before the last month's meeting that he had cancer, and he lasted 4 weeks. So he passed away yesterday. So Donnie will be sorely missed because he, even with special needs, he kept the restaurant running. It's one of those repetitive things you learn. He learns and he learns it well, and he does it exactly the same every day. So it was great having him, but. They're great enough that we purchased a house over 20 years ago and put him in a house and got him out of apartments because the Hispanics were overrunning all the apartments and all. But I could talk about Donnie all day long. We'll get to our demo, which is going to be great. Those of y'all sitting a little further back may want to move up here a little bit closer. The things he's turning are a little on the small side, so you don't have to worry about them coming off the lane hitting you in the nose. Now, Tommy got everybody scared, so everybody started moving to the back like a bunch of Baptists. If you ever noticed the Baptist church, the back row's always the one that fills up first. But we're glad to have you do this. We appreciate you already got a mic, don't you?
I have a mic.
You
yes.
got a mic. And these turn-ins that he's doing are absolutely great. So we appreciate it, Mr. Holt.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Bob Hobby, live up in Huntsville. I don't just do little things. Let's see. Can you see that? I'll say this is hard to maneuver. That's, you're talking about using a router on a lathe. Basically, can you see that at all? The straight lines in it I did with a small router on the lathe using the indexing thing I have, and but the rest of it was hand carved. So I do bigger things like, well, let's see, which way is this sucker gonna go? Can you see that? That's about 13 inches tall. Can you see it? I can't see this little thing here. It's like a vase. Probably had it upside down and whatever. Anyway, I do some big things, but and you know, carve things so they look like something else. Great big things. That's about 14 inches across. Bases. Saw that in the AAW magazine one time. Said, well, I can do that. Took a lot longer than I expected. There's a lot of carving in these things. Anyway, I'm not going to do big things today. Last year, I spent a week up at Mark Adams School with the Hans and Jakob Weisflog from Germany. They do little tiny things. In fact, his motto is small and fine, plain and fine. And he specializes in cutting something in one direction on the top and in another direction on the bottom. So when you hold it up, it looks like a fringe pattern. You can do it different patterns, whatever you feel like. And I'll pass these around. There's a bunch of them around so you can see different things I've tried. Just get them out there. Now, to do this, you have to have an offset chuck. Now, you don't have to buy an expensive offset chuck. You just make one. You drill a center hole and put a peg in it and then decide how wide you want the center of your offset to be. Put another peg in it. Then you drill those same holes in your piece and set it on there and it will spin offset. Now, that's the easy part. To do that fringe pattern means the front and the back have to be perfectly parallel. Because if they're not parallel, you'll break through in one place and not in the other. So, well, I normally, I'll take a chunk like this chunk of cherry. This one's fairly flat on the backside, so I'll just, instead of putting it in the chuck, I'd put it on top of the chuck and then pull up the foot and hold it in place and cut it round. And since it's I use my small chuck for this, I can cut all the way across down to about 60 millimeters if I want to. And then put a tenon on it, turn it around, put it in the chuck, got a tenon on the other side, and I can go either direction. Now, if I'm doing the one that has 3 things on it, 1 tenon on each side is plenty. If you're going to go off the edge, like the really offset one, you have to put a double tenon. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, see how it has a stair step? 1 tenon is where you grab it with the chuck. The other one is so when you come off the edge, you just barely touch the second tenon, and that keeps you the same depth as you go around. So every time you come off the edge, you should just barely touch the second tenon. So that first tenon is the depth of the ridges that we're going to have. So now, is everyone following me? No?
Getting set up, Bill can sent you a message and said if you're filling out your email on the form that's going around, please write it so he can read it. Yeah.
So everything lines up the same as it did when I put it on my. Yep. Okay. But I have said a few is that it goes off the edge. My tool, you can see it, is very small. I'm going to point it on the edge. It's only about a 1/16 of an inch wide. And we pass these out there and just, they can pass them around. You can pull the cork off and look at it. I just do that because they're so small, they break off.
Would a thin parting tool work or? would it-
Yes. The, like a 16th of an inch, something like that. So, well, almost anything will do it. I just use a piece of steel rod. I made a bunch out of 1/4 inch drills and got a bunch of cheap ones at Harbor Freight and drill them in there and ground the ends. But I grind the ends smooth with a tape and then grind it up so that it's pointed at the end almost. That when you push it in, it's amazing how much friction you can get going straight in. You need to have a little bit of taper off the edge. Makes it, I mean, it is just a little tiny scraper. And if you relieve the edges, it doesn't bind then. It's real easy to twist your hand when you're going straight in and out. And the important thing is to go straight in and straight out. If you go straight in and then bend a little when you come out, it'll break those little fine ridges right off.
What kind of glue are you using there?
Glue.
You glue them together under the face plate?
Oh, this, I just use hot melt glue. You don't have to. If you use pegs, just I just drill holes with a 3/8 inch Forstner bit and put a peg in and cut it off. If you haven't reused them, it'll hold tight enough that you don't need the glue. But I didn't want it to come off during the demonstration. Okay. And there's all sorts of ways of making sure that you put the holes in this one the same as the holes in this one, so that they fit together tightly. So you don't have to force them. You can always use your calipers. Or just a set one that goes off the edge, you're only using 2 legs and it's not going to be moved. So you can pretty much do it. If you're doing the 3-hole, the best way to do it is to make a jig and then use this to drill the holes on both pieces. You only need 2 on this one, but you need to have 3 on the one that has 3 holes in it. As you turn it around. Now that one, you use a little bigger blank because so that the 3 holes, the 3 sets of grooves are separate. And because that one's a little bigger, I always use a hot melt glue on it. And I use a bigger backing so that it's more solid. When you're going off the edge, you don't need that much because it's not going to move. It's there and it's going to stay there till you're done. And the indispensable tool is 16th inch drill bit, but you got to have a center hole. And I go in about, that far. And I know where the center hole is. Yeah. Okay, now the first one, put the elbow thing out of the way. Okay. And somewhere around 900 RPM is good. Now this one, my step on the edge doesn't help me because I'm in the middle. So I have a little tiny test thing here. Just an old drill bit that's been sharpened so I can stick it in. And I've got a little magic mark on it, so it's about the same distance as that step I put on there, about a 1/16 of an inch. Yep, it's not quite deep enough. Now, I've tried marking this one with a black thing. It's hard to see because you keep getting sawdust on it. That's why I stop and use the other one to check it out. There we go. I'm getting real close to the edge here now. The next one will go off the edge. I'll hope that I'm the right distance here. The idea is you want to go straight in. And carefully at first, because you're hitting the outside edge, and it wants to pull you because it's not at a straight angle. I still got a little bit more to go. It looks like I'm fully on both sides, so I'm lucky. Just a hair. Okay. I don't know if that camera can see it, but that is just barely touching that second step, but it hasn't cut into it. Now, do the rest of them exactly the same as that, it's great. We'll find out if I can do it.
About how many RPMs are you turning?
900?
900?
Yeah, around there. I don't have one of these fancy machines that tells you the RPM. I gotta look at that and it's about 40 on that thing over there. That's close to 900. It's whatever you're comfortable with, right? You don't have to go too fast because it'll grab this whole thing. So there's kind of a compromise. You don't want to go too slow, you slip off. Don't want to go too fast, it'll grab. Anyway, we're going. And this is persimmon. Persimmon works pretty well. I've done it with cherry and some of those ones. I think I had a lacewood one, but I did the lacewood one a little wider because it chips out. I did an oak one that turned out pretty well, but if the wood has wide grain, it's really hard to find things. You got good. I thought that something like basswood, which is great for carving, would be good, but it chips out. So this is too hard on it. Anyway, cherry is plentiful and it works pretty well.
Have you shot burls?
I have not. If it's good and solid, it might work. But you don't want something that's going hard, soft, hard, soft. It's very difficult to control this whole thing then. Uh, so we just, and I don't know any other way to do this, but just keep turning the thing on and off. You wanna, you, just kind of lean to the outside a little bit, but you don't want to lean to the inside. And the one way we'll do is, actually, you can make up any design you want. And and you have a big one on one side and two little ones on the other side. You just have to drill your holes on the back to set it on there that way. But if you're just doing them on the surface without going off the edge, you just have a good solid piece on the outside of this to rest against. You don't push against it, but you think that way. Thinking does it just enough. Okay, that looks good. Some things can't be rushed, sorry. That one just a little deep. Oh, well.
As you turn it towards the edge, you have to be a little lighter.
Yeah. And you gotta make sure you're pushing down real hard. Because first place you're coming in at a much shallower angle, so it wants to pull. And you're not going very far. So you can feel the difference. It's harder to see where you are too.
Far away you should.
So that it's on the solid part of the bar. You don't want to be sliding up and down that thing. So, half, 3/4 of an inch. Of course, you could grind this different, sharper thing, you could get closer, but 3/4 of an inch is plenty. It was perfect, and I thought it was, okay, so now we have that. If all of the things were on the surface, like the three things, I would now kind of round off each of them with a skew tip and then sand it. But because it comes off the edge, it's real hard to enter with a skew on it. So what I do now, with some sandpaper, which I have here somewhere. Let's see. I won't really be good. and just some. Like this is like 120. You see, I hate to use these kind of things for little tiny things, but it works. I've got piles and piles of sandpaper on. And this is the last time you get to do any sanding the easy way. I guess another part I could use is skew on. Since I'm doing everything else by hand, I may as well do this. I'm out on off the edge now. This really beats up sandpaper fast. I'm not really worried about the outside edge because it's going to get turned later. But later on, you can sand these things. It's not necessary, but the finished piece looks better if the tops are kind of rounded. And so I would end up later on just doing this all by hand now. So this is a demo. What I might do is try. See what I can very lightly, if you're slightly above center, in your very light hand, if I can do this without breaking the tips off. That looks pretty good. Okay.
You ever tried a beading tool to do that?
No. It, the beading tool I have makes too deep a cut. Yeah, those are all the same. I just basically, and I just grind those in the side of the wheel and then finish it up on the face of the wheel. I have beading tools I use like for making a faux basket, an Indian basket, and that gets about 1/8 of an inch deep, which is deeper than this could be. Now, if you're making something bigger, that would work fine because you'd have bigger ridges. I think you could do a job with that. Yeah. Okay. We will come back to this surface a little later to finish off the edges, but right now we want to do the backside. And sometimes you just have to do it the hard way. Hot glue is good for some things, but not for others. Cleaning up, it's not very good on.
Pass this one around.
Sure, yeah, and that peg actually sticks out. Yeah, that's my
Center hole or that's the locator for
it's a locator for the others. It was a little, you can see. But that's a 3/4 inch one, which is, you want to put a big peg in it. Oh, you can pass around the offset chuck.
And there's the two, there's the chuck and the drilling template.
Okay, now, to do the back, oh, this is a box top, right? So we're gonna have a wedge. Get down to right about where the tenon is, because that's about the same distance as these are deep. And then I'm gonna make circles in the back that are concentric so that they just barely touch the others. So what I want to do is come down. Now let's see. Oh, it's easier to guess in millimeters. Uh, And you don't need much to hold on to something this small. I mean, it's basically holding on to a little 16-inch tenon. It's plenty. Start out with a little bit of just hollowing out because we got these two big holes in here. Yep. Well, we're just looking. Go remeasure this now that I did the thing. It's down to almost 11 millimeters now. For those of you that make boxes, it's the handiest tool ever invented. It's a scraper that's 90 degrees at the tip, but it's offset a little so you can get it in easily. Sorby makes it. I've had it for years. I'm missing my lights. Okay. I'm checking again. So I've got quite a ways to go there. Not quite a 16th. I measure many, many times because I've got a whole bin full of these things that I went, whoops. Okay, so I've got about a millimeter and a half to go, which is not very much. Mm. You hear the difference in tone? I'm starting to get real thin and thirsty.
How do you know if you have, if that's flat all the way across?
Well,
Yeah.
you guess, actually what I'm looking at, it looks like the middle is right at 11 millimeters, whereas the outside is at 10 millimeters. So I need to cut more on the outside edge than the inside now.
Lay a ruler across there and then.
I just did it by eyeball, but yeah, it's the same thing. They can look across the edges and see pretty well.
You were initially doing this, but you have a lot of those offshot moments.
Like I said, I've got a whole bin full of these things. I will show to anybody. Yeah, it's getting closer. Well, I'm close enough now. I can go to my secondary method. If I make the holes and I go down fairly deep and I haven't touched anything, I take a little off the top and then try again. But I, yeah, I can feel that the outside's a little thicker than the inside because it sounds different when I scratch it, but it's pretty close.
Taking the break, it, or just.
Oh, it's just a regular scraper. The edges are chamfered back at, I don't know, 20 degrees something. It works real well for doing a box. If I were doing something else, I'd probably do a negative rake on it, but this works pretty well because you always, you know, this is not end grain like, you know, most boxes you're going to be end grain with. And that works real well. This is side grain, but it's sharp. I sharpened it up. It cuts pretty well. And kind of guess this one more time. That's perfect. Well, looks like it's going to work. We'll try it. Now, if I go throwing them around, I've got to break them all. And when we get done, it looks like that. Okay, I'm done. Okay. Yeah. It does help to give a little starting place. I need my light. Yeah. I have a little light that I shine right into the hole to,
I don't find it. Nice.
yeah.
You can set it up, wait, plug it in.
Okay, well, right there, there's a plug.
Here.
Where,
This time,
where you get a plug?
Either place. That one's full, isn't it? No, they got one on the bottom. There you go.
Okay. Perfect. I'm gonna stick this down here. Oh, let there be light.
Yeah. Light, camera,
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, I used to be able to see things in the shade. That's, oh, I'm in the middle of your camera now, aren't I? There we go.
You see it if you can.
Okay. I may have to move it again after I do this. Trying to get the two of us as close as I can, so. I used to hold these with a pair of pliers and I stuck in, I found that you can hold on to a 16th inch bit for a hole that's only a 16th of an inch deep. That's, doesn't hurt at all. Okay. So now, this is a little easier cutting because you're not going off an edge. It's just doing concentric circles. And when we touch the other ridges on the other side, you'll hear a change in the sound as it's clicking across them.
Better to work in the sun going out.
Yes. Because then you kind of, you're pushing against the outside edge, which is solid, rather than, yeah. Good. And see if it touches evenly. Well, just barely. I'm gonna have to clean up later. Well. Now. That's as far as I go with this one. What I'll do is I'll come back with a thinner one and try to clean some of them up to save on trying to sand them out later. Like I said, if those, the back and the front aren't perfectly parallel, sometimes you cut too much on one side and barely on the other. And there's a lot of little things you got to kind of scrape them to clean it out. I haven't found any real easy way to clean it out. I've tried those little fuzzy sanding little things. It doesn't, it cleans up some of the fuzz, but not all of it. There doesn't seem to be any easy way other than make a real thin one and just get in there like you have a chisel or something and clean it out. Yeah, and we've touched them, but we haven't cleaned them. Before I do the whole thing, I'm gonna never make the last cut, right? Like that.
that's a video.
That's what happens when you make the list, but anyway, you can see we're getting there. We just want to roll about the middle of this. Never, it's so, this is so easy, can't make a mistake. Anyway, that happened. Well, yes. Actually. So other than that,
You ever taken alcohol ink cans and colored individual rings?
no,
That'd make for plug-in for Sandra, that would make great Christmas ornaments, or you
yeah,
put a band around it and make necklaces.
to do that, yes. It's especially with a real fine one like this one. This one's probably about half the width of the other one. You can make some real fine ones because you could, if you're just doing a disc like that, it'd be easy. Because, you know, you could run it through your planer and make sure that both sides are parallel and just cut in from both sides. You don't need to do all the handwork on it then. Heather?
Also, since that one didn't break all the way through, you can clean that up, make it an accent point
Well, you could.
inside.
Yeah, put a little piece of stone in the middle or something.
So
Well,
you could just leave it open.
yeah, well, that's true.
It just be, you know, it just, it'll be an
It's-
accent.
Well, if everything else were perfect, you could clean out the whole circle, glue in another piece and then redo it. You'd never be able to see the glue because it's just where they'll join anyway. So, it was just a chunk of wood, now it's a chunk of wood. Yeah, okay. But I'm just showing what I do at this point. So we're done. We come in here and do the same thing with this, we did with the other. Now it goes sideways. Just slightly rounding things over. I'm gonna go through my new sandpaper away somewhere. Oh, there it is. And, you know, more of the same. The sand the inside because it doesn't have all those little edges. Now, of course, the next step was to do the bottom of the box. You don't know how to do the bottom of a box and it has a tenon on it. And you fit the tenon, go back and make sure this is square and then fit the tenon to it and it's done. But what I do to this, after I had hooked it up to the bottom, you give this slightly above center with a skew, you know, very gentle. You can roll this over. And get a nice rounded edge on it and then sand it. The edge of everything, you know, you put the box together and finish the outside. There's enough thickness where we had those tenons so you can blend the two pieces together. You put it on and get rid of the tenon on the back so that it mushes exactly, or you can take the ridge off and mush it to the tenon. Oh, that's fairly easy.
The mount, the, inside compression or.
Oh, you can do that. I've done that. Well, it's, you still have quite a bit of thickness on there. Yeah, we could do that. You know, this will close enough to get on there, I think. Yeah. That'll work just like that. But the outside part, I always nail it to the bottom and then do the whole thing at once. I'll bring up the foot if I need to make sure it holds together, put a flat disc in the foot and just hold it against there. You don't want to push hard in the middle because it's real thin. But if you have something that's flat and then you just blend the two together, just like any box. If you're really good, you make it tight enough, you don't have to bring the foot up, right? I bring the foot up. Okay. Are there any questions on the process?
Practice.
Yeah, like I said, I've got lots of these with holes in them like that. But I figure if I can make about 1 out of 5 where I don't break it somehow, you know, usually it's just a chip on the edge. This actually it needs some sanding, but and the holes aren't perfectly clean, so I'd have to go in there and just I usually just take the little one and act like it's a tool, and if you just scrape over and use those little holes will show up. And then you can figure on sand. And when it's all done, you know, either spray it with some lacquer or just throw a little oil on it and it's done. Okay,
Make some small boxes, put those on normally.
yeah, they're in box, you know, more depth than the top sometimes. Sometimes I make them exactly the same, and just a little box. There's a big one I did. See?
Okay.
And it's just a box.
Yeah, pass that one.
Okay. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but there's a little box. Pass that one around too. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's like we just made, but it's a box. Do a little decorating on the side. Sometimes I take my elf tool and make a, you know, little design on the side. So. And when you're using hot glue with the bigger ones, you got to get yourself one of these because that hot glue does not let loose very easily. What?
Dissolve the hot.
Yeah,
Denatured alcohol.
well, and if you cut it loose from the chuck, you just scrape around that, where the hot glue is on the chuck, and then you can pull it right off. Handy dandy, you know.
If all
I-
else fails, you can put it in the baking paper.
I,
A few
I,
seconds.
I think I've had this chisel for 50 years and it still is useful. Okay,
Ask your questions now. If anybody wants to come up and
well,
ask anything.
well, something else. Let's see, where's the one that shows it?
Is
Yeah, the way you do the ones with the 3 circles, the radius, if you start at one point and walk around with the radius, it divides a circle into exactly 6 pieces. So then you draw from one of those across the center line, you get three of them, that's your three places. Then you draw a smaller circle, and where it intersects those lines is where you're gonna drill your holes. Now, if you keep them far enough apart, you don't have to be precise. But one of these things that I showed, I actually overlap the circles. And if you overlap the circles, you have to be really precise. If you look at this, I actually touched that one. The rest of them are okay.
Those make for some cute box lids.
Yep.
No more questions? Everybody's ready to turn one next week, tomorrow?
Oh. Well, let's see, the depth of my, no, I drill them, the depth of the drill, getting old is tough.
Pins are 3/16 to a 1/4 inch tall.
Yeah, that's about the
That's all
same.
he's needing.
My Forstner bit, the 3/8 Forstner bit is about a 1/4 inch. I just run it down to that. It can go real, but you use a thicker piece of wood, you can go-
The original piece that you had that glued onto, okay.
Yes,
Could you pass that around?
I think I did, didn't I? Yeah, there was a small piece with some, 2 pegs on it. And
Back there.
and
Got the-
the offset chuck only needs
got
2
the
pegs.
Chuck and the drill jig back there.
Yeah, the offset chuck only needs 2 holes, then you can decide how many holes to put in the piece you're turning. And
If any of y'all wanna see this piece that he's got drilled to go on, this is a blank. If you wanna see how deep the holes are, you
yeah,
can come up, take a look at this piece.
like I said, if you have a thicker piece, you could drill, it doesn't hurt to have a little more. You need at least a 1/4 inch deep, because otherwise it'll be off, well, the torque.
You have to drill deep enough. Clear that. That's what's.
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, well, I use basically, so about 3/4, I cut so the top's almost 3/4 inch deep usually. Because then I can drill those holes when you make the pegs a little longer, so it's really on there good. Cause I'm gonna cut off some of it as I go in. Yeah, make the little thinner.
Go deeper than the final cut.
Yeah, well, it doesn't want to go as deep as the final cut. Clean those holes completely out, yeah.
Anybody else? Bob, that was a great demo. We
Thank you, sir.
appreciate it.
Yep.
How many demos have you done?
That's my first one.
So, this was a first timer, folks. All right.
Yeah, we got it. Okay, let's do the eternal challenge. We'll do the eternal challenge and then show and tell.
The eternal show and tell.
Yeah. Eternal challenge and then show and tell. Has everybody signed in? Everyone's eligible except our 2 visitors. Did you sign me in?
Yes.
Yes, you did. Thank you. We got,
Tommy's in.
okay, we got 29. Let me pull out my phone. Oh, one of the last ones, 27.
Jim Vest.
Jim Vest, do you take the challenge again? You win too much. Has your wife taken you to Vegas lately?
No.
She needs to. Next month.
Remember, they not for.
Yeah, it'll be the fourth Saturday. No, it'll be the third Saturday. For the next 2 months, we will meet on the third Saturday because of the holidays. So y'all remember that. We'll be on the third Saturday. The Saturday. You can pass up. You'll take it. You'll do something. Well, that'd be a good time for a Christmas ornament. Yeah, yeah, you got it. Okay. Somebody take a note that Jim Vest won that for, is Bill still on? Tommy? We'll remind Bill that that's it. All right, let's start with show and tell. Right. And the following Thursday should be Thanksgiving. 2 Thursdays.
27th is.
Hold on.
We could do it on the 22nd, 27th is Thanksgiving, 27th is Thanksgiving. We could do it on the 22nd because there's 5 Saturdays.
There's 5 Saturdays this time. We could still, because there's 5 Saturdays in November, we will do it on the 4th Saturday. We'll do it on the 22nd. Yeah, we'll do it on the 22nd. But then, December,
Be the 20th.
December, our Christmas party will be on the 20th. Everybody get ready for that auction, have something to donate, because that's our big fundraiser for the year. All right, let's do show and tell. Miss Jean.
Thank you.
Gotta hold it pretty close.
I did a demo at Woodcraft last Saturday, and with this being October and Halloween, I just started to make a little witch's hat, and then it's got a little shiny dangly at the bottom, little light. And then I also made a pumpkin. Both of them are made out of cedar, just
Okay.
little fun things.
Question, how did you put your grooves in the pumpkin?
The little grooves in the pumpkin, I used Ryobi's equivalent of a Dremel tool.
Okay. Okay, so she used a Dremel type grinder, micro grinder, and cut the grooves in it for the pumpkin. Cute. Very cute. All right, Dennis.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Not a bowl turner, but.
Looks like a bowl to me.
I'm afraid to make one out of a piece of sweet gum that she had.
Oh, yeah. They remind me,
Okay.
you gotta talk into mine.
Yeah, okay. Sweet gum. So I spent months on this thing. Every time I'd turn it and let it sit aside for a few days, it would warp. And I'd come back to it. I'd have to reshape it, go away for a couple of days, it would warp. And that's been going on for several months now. But I finally got to a point. That's all I'm gonna do, you know. I don't know if it's finished or not, but I'm not turning any more on it.
Well, now. You gotta remember, some of our turners would turn that and turn it to the finished turn and set it up and let it dry and let it go all kind of wonky ways. And then they simply sit it on a sander and flatten the bottom off where it doesn't rock. And they call it a natural bowl.
Yeah. Well, the lady that wanted me to do this for wanted a bowl to mix salads in, you know. So I kind of felt it needed to be fairly round. Long as it's off the lathe though, you can't tell it's not round, I don't think.
That works. It looks like a bowl to me. Howard.
The Alabama Woodworkers, they have a jury show every year. They're used to be at the Hoover Library, but this year they're redoing the Hoover Library, so they had it at the workplace there in Maylene, Alabama. You can't get there from here, can you, Sandra? But anyway, I had put this in. It's an elevated natural edge box, and has a finial with the box on it. And I was lucky enough to get first place on it. So the base is blackwood, African blackwood. The stem here is African blackwood. The cap and the finials African blackwood, and this part is cherry burl. So anyway,
The finial. Did that happen to start out as a clarinet
it
bell?
was clarinet bell, yes.
Clarinet bell.
Yeah,
They're
rejects.
probably some of the least expensive African blackwood you'll ever be able to find at the different symposiums and all. They sell the blackwood blanks that they use to make clarinet bells.
Woodcraft usually has
Yeah,
some.
Woodcraft usually has some. So it's gorgeous.
Of course, lost
It
time
just
you
looked like it looked like clarinet.
lost time you'll turn into the clarinet bells, and there'll be a void in there, and you go, oh shucks. But anyway, that's what that is. And that's my little award. This is Saul.
Well deserved, well deserved.
And this is cherry burl. Well, dump that out. But got holes in bottom, so
It won't hold.
it won't hold water.
Soup.
It's gonna be a wash pot, but it wouldn't hold the water. So anyway,
It's religious, it's a good.
yes, a holy
Holy
bowl. Yeah.
Okay, we had a lot of questions earlier on. How many bowls did you core out of that?
I ended up with 3.
End up with 3.
Yeah, 3. Yes, because you need to core it, because if you don't, that beautiful figure is going to be just shavings. So anyway, that's what you got to do. Any other question?
When
It-
you're pouring a burl like that, the voids, does that cause any?
Yes, but
Okay.
do it green.
was green?
Yeah.
If it's not green?
Oh,
Make sure your tools real sharp.
sharp. And make sure you got plenty of patience and go as slow as you possibly can, because it'll be grabbing and just.
Yeah, okay, that's why.
When
I want to get to Howard's house and say, help me core this.
if you're working the greenwood, don't seal the ends and let it sit there for a year. Work on it right then. Work as much as you can on it right then. Okay. Much easier.
Too late.
It's too late.
I'd like to make a comment. We were seeing students the other day, Howard had done earned like
Yes, thank you, Howard. Okay, we have a walnut platter with a natural burl medallion on one side. Who did? Come talk about it.
There's nothing to say other than basically you never know quite what you're gonna get when you get a piece of wood out of the scrap wood bin at Woodcraft. So that's
That was in
Yeah.
the scrap wood bin at Woodcraft.
when they had their special, what was it, last weekend or a couple weekends ago? ordinarily, I was talking with Dean, I'm like, ordinarily you guys let the employees go through. He's like, oh no, not this one. Sure enough, 4 inches down on top of the pile was this slab of, I didn't know what, but it was heavy. So $32 later, I'm like, hey, let's turn it this. And it was walnut. And I was just, so, and it was hard. Oh boy. I mean, seriously, that was hard. Anyway, hello.
Can I get a plug in?
Yes, sir.
There might be a piece of walnut out
Oh,
there.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
Well, cheaper than him buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if y'all didn't notice, it does have a little natural medallion on the side of Burl.
My wife liked it so much, she actually says that for the first time, she'll let me put it on display.
All right, but she won't let you give it away or sell it, probably. Okay, we got a Tom Wayne, a persimmon bowl.
Yeah, one of my neighbors cut down a persimmon tree and I got a bunch of it, so I turned this bowl out of it. I thought it was kind of interesting the way the pith shows up in the center of it. I mean, it's just got a lot of figure to it. It was real hard too.
What kind of finish do you use?
Tongue oil,
Tongue oil. How many coats?
about 7.
7 coats so far? Okay.
Then I made this little ring bowl out of a piece of maple burl that I had left over. I don't,
Well, now, some of us, when we're doing a bowl, we wind up with that little tit in the center that you can't figure out how to get rid of. So he just accentuated.
yeah, I just left it there. That way you can hang your ring on it so you know where your ring is.
Oh, that's cute.
Kind of jewelry collection location.
Okay, top hatter. This looks like a demo to me.
I have, I've watched several people do hats, Chris Ramsey and what's up, Johansson, is that his name?
Mick, yeah.
And the gentleman that come here.
Yeah.
And I always said, I'm gonna turn a top hat if I ever come across the right piece of wood. This is my second attempt at a hat. The first one cracked in half, and when Chris Ramsey tells you they burn good, they do burn good. This not thin enough. I'm just glad that it didn't crack. Yeah. Huh?
Put it on.
It does, it can wear, it's a little heavy. So, but I did all the things I wasn't supposed to do. It wasn't green enough. It should have been slinging water. It was a little dry. As you can tell by the tear out, it started to, it was just about to start to decay. But the log this come from, we estimated it was about 600 or 700 pounds. It took 3 of us to roll it up a ramp, get it back to the truck. So, but that's it. I don't wear it a lot, but I do have like an 8-foot ladder that I put shelves on when I go to a show or something, and this sits on top of my ladder. You're welcome to look at it and all, but please don't drop it.
Good job, good job. Yeah, there he is. We got some gorgeous little bird houses and a Halloween thing and some jig.
So, a couple of you asked last month how I did my golf ball ornaments. And so this is the jig I use. I drill a 1/2-inch hole in there. And then using a handmade hollowing tool, just small enough to fit into there, I'm able to hollow that out. So I brought an actual one that I've hollowed out compared to what one, and you're doing it just for the weight of the, you're just trying to lighten the ornament up. So there's that. And then
Before we move on from that, what is your cutting edge?
what do you mean?
All right, you got
It's just a piece of
shaft
drill
and-
rod.
It's just a piece of drill rod.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, who made the hollow forms? Ellsworth, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's his style tool.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely is.
So it's just a
Okay.
smaller version of it. And then of course I made a couple birdhouse ornaments for the Christmas tree. Um, junk wood, I got boxes that I picked up from a lady who made, trophy stands. And so all the cutoffs and stuff, so I just dig through the boxes and, pull out whatever I can to make something. I will say that this ornament is, Del Nish's from his Christmas, birdhouse book that he put out. This is one of the ones out of that. And then the other two are just combinations of something I found on the internet and tried different things to put together. And then of course the stands are also, multi-axis turning for the stand. So.
The stands are one piece. Turned on off center. I told him, I said, we may have to discuss turning birdhouses and stands next year. Cause he's done a great job on these little birdhouses. Y'all haven't looked at them closely, take a look at them. Take pictures and emulate them if you can, because they're great.
And then the pumpkin, I was involved in a car accident a couple years back, which makes it hard for me to stand at the lathe. So I've moved to a CNC doing CNC. So that's just something I made on my CNC for Halloween.
Great. All right. All righty, come on back up. We had his kind of separated.
So this may be the subject of a future demo. I'm certainly up.
You're right.
This is what I made for the tree topper this year. It is essentially just a bowl, which this is canary wood. I love canary wood. It's by far my favorite wood. You take the blank and essentially I use Forstner bits to drill it out, and then a bandsaw to cut it, and then mount it, mortise, reverse it, hollow it, but leave a stem. It's a little tricky if you don't do it right, especially if it's a real deep bowl. You've got to hold that flute and almost scrape it real delicate. Otherwise, boom. And to give you an idea, this is the second set of wings. So the first set was a $45 oops. Anyway, then obviously this is just a spindle turn, but the fluting jig I made, I thought was pretty cool. And nothing more than a hand router, and you just build a table that attaches to the lathe, raises it up, and you take a cove bit and run down the length of it. A little bit of trick, you got to pre-cut and all that, but the gold is actually, Ron, you recommended this stuff for me. What was it, that gold wax?
Gilding wax or
Yeah,
rubbing wax?
yeah. So
Y'all didn't look at the fluting?
Oh, sorry. I speak loud enough. The fluting in this, y'all take a look at it. I was discussing with him about the possibility of doing a demo for the Angel and demo his fluting jig. Cause adding flutes to our turnings is something that would really be nice. So we'll discuss that even more so if that's okay.
bought a lathe. I bought a lathe with an indexing system, and I just kept trying to figure out how to use it. So that's what
You did good. All right, Jim. Yep. We got bells and snowmen.
Yeah, this is just something I was making for the Christmas tree. It's just a simple turning of I think this one was what is that? It's not dogwood. What's that tree we got over on the side? We lost a limb on?
hickory.
No. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, I cut this and was making a snowman, and I was making another snowman when I decided that it was going to look like a bell. So I started making bells. So I made 6 snowmen and 6 bells, and she's got the others in the box. But what's a little different on these is the eyes are different. I used black pins for the eyes, and ended up with some blue ones and some green ones. So my snowman now have colored eyes. They're blue or green or,
Do you use puff paint pens?
huh?
Were those puff paint pens? Cause they look like they're.
No, they're
Sharpies?
they're pins.
Oh, they're pens, straight pens.
They're straight
Okay.
pins, like sewing pins that have a colored head on them. So I just drilled a little hole in there,
Deal.
cut off the, part of the pin part, the metal part, enough to get it the depth of the hole, and just basically glued them in place. Stuck them in and glued them in place. So the colors on the eyes are not going to fade. And this one has a traditional nose instead of the little. This is what I was talking about a couple of months ago. I was talking about making snowmen with a little button nose, making a little red nose, cold outside type thing. But this one has got the traditional carrot nose. And then I made a couple of buttons with this one that are bigger pins, bigger headed pins, like big hat pins. So, and it's just, I left a live edge on the bottom. So, I mean, it's nothing special. They're not too hard to turn, and the bells are hollowed out. Somebody gave me an idea to actually hang a little tiny bell in it so you could hear it ring, but I didn't think about that. I just had these little dowels that I made a striker in.
What did you do? How did you?
That's just a dimpling with a Dremel
rotary
tool.
tool.
Dremel tool.
type tool.
And then, burning in the lines, making them big enough or deep enough to put gold or silver wire. I think I've got several that have gold wire on them instead of silver, but just, this is all playing for, the Christmas tree. So
Who's baggy?
here you go.
Well, that was mine. That'll just put all that stuff in here that's.
Well, y'all look at his stuff in the baggie because they're kind of cute. I like his snowmen too. Where'd you get the angel wings? I ordered them online, and they're just.
I cheated making the snowman. I got those balls at Hobby Lobby, screwed them together.
Ah!
I just.
Hey, that's one way to do it. Yeah.
Well,
You thought it was very
They're real round.
Bradford pear. This wood is Bradford pear.
Bradford, okay.
I did that.
Well, Richie's Christmas. Well, come talk about.
It's not much to talk about.
I don't know, they're pretty.
Now, this is the way we used to do ornament. I guess Bill Hubbard's started them, just make them round, drill a hole in them, hollow it out, and then make the icicle in the top for them and glue them together. I believe the icicle in the top are privet hedge. One of the snowmen is, I found a piece of box elder that didn't have any color in it, and I used that. The other one is privet, and that's black and orange puff paint
Okay.
for the cold and the carrot nose.
All right,
But-
I noticed we had color headed pins on one and then puff paint on another. So there's different ways of doing that. I've never seen the pins, and that's.
The only thing you got to be careful with the puff paint, that sometimes it puffs a little bit too much, and
Too much, yeah.
So-
It does.
but that's what I made for what I had time for this week with Birmingham.
Okay, beautiful show and tell table. Thank everybody that brought something to share with us, and we always learn something. Oops. Now we'll go to the raffle table. Y'all remember, you may want to, as soon as you can, to go take a look. There's some really nice poplar logs out there on Tom's truck.
Yep.
And then we got some walnut, and the walnut's really nice. I went out and grabbed me a piece before it all got gone. So, I'm gonna try to get back in the shop this coming week, I hope. All right, we're gonna do the raffle and see what we got. And if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna sit down and do the drawing.
Hey guys, we're down to just the raffle and stuff, so we're gonna sign off and we'll see you next time.